everyone. Welcome to our full moon partial lunar eclipse prep and energy release live. I am Nikki Steinhauer. I'm a spiritual consultant, intuitive energy healer, Reiki master, and I offer spiritual guidance, energy and aura alignments, sound healing, and just a various other modalities to aim to support your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. And I am live with Sarah. I don't know which way it's going to point. But Sarah is a shadow work coach, and she is a very, very good one, I might add. She does help people identify and kind of work through their shadow self, which is a part of their personality that we kind of keep hidden often unconsciously, just because we perceive it to be negative or unacceptable or even sometimes shameful. And Sarah uses a variety of techniques to help her clients kind of explore those deeply suppressed parts of themselves, just so they can kind of live a more full and authentic life. Although this type of work can be challenging, it is incredibly transformative and empowering too. And honestly, Sarah's like the sweetest person. She's like born for this job. So I always feel comfortable with her, which is very important on my own healing journey. She definitely creates a space where I feel comfortable sharing intimate emotions. That way I can just kind of progress through my own journey and progress further. Like I said, she is amazing. Sarah, I hope I introduced you well enough. If there's anything that I'm forgetting or anything you want to add, go for it.
No, I think you introduced me better than I've ever introduced myself. That was
Perfect.
Remarkable. Thank you so much. That was the sweetest introduction ever. Thank you.
Oh, no worries. I felt like you deserved it because I feel like, honestly, I felt like I had to introduce you because you were going to cut yourself short.
Yeah,
because you are absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. You're the sweetest. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so blown away right now. What are we talking about? Full moon?
Yes, full moon and partial lunar eclipse.
So this full moon's in Taurus, and of course I'm all in my feels now. Like, thanks, Nikki.
Oh, sorry. So I know that you wanted to start off with just some important dates kind of coming up and kind of getting everyone to know like what those dates were and all that stuff.
Yes. So today is the partial, or was approximately about a half an hour ago, was the partial lunar eclipse. Don't mind me making all this noise about my calendar. Partial lunar eclipse in Taurus. They're always with a full moon. That's what happens. Moon is full and it passes in front of it. If it's a new moon, it's a solar eclipse. So we just started Scorpio season. That started the beginning of the week. Tell my Scorpios out there, happy time for you. I'm never sure how a Scorpio is going to react to their in season. It's either very aloof or like very excited. I'm here for it. I love my Scorpios. Mercury's in Scorpio. We are still in eclipse season, so this erratic energy is definitely calling us to take hard looks at ourselves. A lot of shadows are being illuminated right now. A lot of hard conversations are being had right now. Taurus is a very grounding, stable sign. It loves love. It loves sleep. It loves money. It loves the finer things. So expect a little bit of earth-shattering, shaken up in your foundational beliefs when it comes to maybe your relationships, maybe your financial relationships. Either way, eclipse energy is good energy. It's a course corrector. It's gonna pick you up in like where the weeds where you got lost. It's gonna catapult you in the right direction. Is it gonna be friendly? I don't know.
Hopefully.
But that's what we're here to navigate. We're here to try to give you some of the tools to hopefully ring in this season with a little bit more like calm canoeing and less white water rafting.
Yes. So I'm reading some of the comments, and I just want to say hi to everyone who's joining us. Hello, everyone. But yes, someone said, oh my God, the energy has been crazy. Absolutely. It is a roller coaster of energy. And it's, I mean, if you're not holding on, like you're going to fly off. You're just, it's a lot going on right now.
And it's designed to be that way. Like that's the intention. Think about like what is happening. The moon is passing in between Earth and the sun. So the sun provides us all this energy constantly. Then you literally have a boulder come in and block it for a second. Just think about what it feels like when a cloud passes over the sun and you got like a moment of cool, like breezy energy versus the sun beating down on you.
Yeah.
And now apply that to the cosmos. And that's what happened today.
Oh, yes. So let's see. So should we go into like what a full moon is? We can go ahead and do that. So for anyone who doesn't really know what a full moon is, a full moon is basically just when the sun, the earth, and the moon align. And this happens every 28 days. And through this alignment, the moon interacts with the magnetic field of the earth through what is called a reconnection event. I'm going to get nerdy. I'm going to show y'all some cool things. I'm going to share this little, there we go. I don't know if you guys can see that, but a reconnection event is just the process in which magnetic field lines, as you can see in the picture, it's all those blue lines. So all those magnetic field lines in a plasma break and reconnect, converting it into magnetic energy. And it creates it, it makes it heat up and accelerate the particles around it. So this affects the Earth's, we'll say bioelectrically. I won't go too much into it, but this is a cool description. I just want to kind of show you guys, but it basically just creates a magnetotail, which you can see is where the energy kind of realigns. And when the moon enters the magnetotail, it is basically a shock to the Earth's electrical system. So it basically like interrupts and disrupts the Earth's entire energy. So I just wanted to share that cool little photo with y'all. But like I said, when the moon crosses into this region and particles from the tail kind of land in the moon's surface, it temporarily gives it a negative charge. And that negative charge kind of accelerates other ions in the tail, creating a subtle shift in the magnetic field. And like I said, it's felt throughout the entire Earth's surface. So the moon plays a huge part just in our overall energies. And a full moon typically enhances all of our energies and amplifies those energies. So for example, if you are loving, you're going to become more loving. If you're crazy, you're going to become more crazy. If you're a nurse, you already kind of know like the background behind the full moon. So nurses, you typically have more patients coming into the hospital during a full moon, and studies show that this is actually true. And the moon does affect our bodies and our emotions. The moon also affects the tides of the ocean. It raises and lowers the water throughout the lunar cycles. And we are made up of, what is it? It's like 60 to 70% water. So if you think that the moon doesn't have an effect on that water in your body, I did find some studies that prove that the moon does affect us. So there was a study published in PubMed. It was a sleep study that proved that people get less sleep during full moon. So if you're all cranky and you're all moody in the morning because you're not sleeping, just know that that has been proven. They've taken, it was like 300 people, and they put some, they let them sleep in a full moon, and they put the other ones in like a dark room where they had no access to the moonlight at all. And every single one of them reported less sleep. So just really understanding that all the energy around you is kind of being affected, and just you have to be aware enough to recognize those shifts to really work with the energies instead of against them. So yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Like when you told me the other day, like, yeah, we're 60 to 70% water. And I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Because I know that the moon and the tides go hand in hand. Like when you think about working with something in the phase that it's in, it just makes sense. Like you wouldn't work against the phase of the sun. Like if you're trying to grow crops, you're not going to keep try and cultivate
Mhm.
them at night and be like, I don't understand why these won't grow. Why wouldn't we do that when every aspect of our life, like respond to these energetic phases of, well, that we know that the moon is a part of for Earth, so we can function in our highest form?
Mhm.
It makes perfect sense. And
Yes.
with the full moon in Taurus, the full moon is an amplifier, right? Like you said. So
Yeah.
think of that grounded, like stable energy that's being amplified. That's what it's going after. That's what this eclipse is seeking out for you.
Mhm.
Where in your life are you most unstable? What's rocky? Like that is what you're being called to look at. That's what's being shaken up, and it wants to rip you from this period of unstableness and put you in a state
Instability.
of instability. Thank you.
Gotcha.
And put you in stability, which I love.
Mhm. Yeah, the energies, I mean, once you start learning just how energies work and how to flow with them in your life with the manifestations and stuff like that, which Sarah did remind me, this is not a time for manifesting. It is not a time for manifesting. So that was very, very important because I know that we just had the live about manifesting. So got to be very intentful with the times that we do it.
Yeah, eclipse energy is very erratic. You're looking for cleansing, you're looking for clearing, you're looking for focusing and matching that energy. If it's already broke, like why not just shake out the smaller pieces? When you're manifesting, you want something more stable, more calm, like you want it focused, you want to be clear with your intention, you want to have clarity all around your aura, not just within yourself, but like your energy field. That's not this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. This weekend is definitely all about clearing your energy, releasing anything that's no longer serving you. Really, I mean, even like I cleaned my home today because decluttering and getting all that clutter, because our inner world is a reflection, or our outer world's a reflection of our inner world. So really just doing those little tidy up things of, cleaning the house, doing the laundry, just kind of cutting cords and releasing anything that's no longer serving us is so crucial during this time, because if we're still holding on to those energies, it's going to be amplified. Like if we're jealous or something in the background is like, oh, pinging at you, and you don't let that go and you don't take care of it. And that's why what you do, shadow work, is so important, because if we don't even know what the underlying reason is, how are we going to address it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just still, if we just have it lurking around, those energies are going to come in and they're going to amplify. It's going to blow everything up. And you're going to be like, man, I was just trying to manifest something, and this just, it amplified in the wrong direction. So
Yeah. Definitely focus more on yourself and your inner world, like you said.
yeah.
And I did a collective reading earlier for tonight. It focuses on this inner world. It focuses on the self and having the courage to like take on these things that we actively avoid. Like this eclipse doesn't want to show you stuff that you just have been putting off that you don't really care about. It's going to show you deep wounds. It wants to dig in there. It's like, look, you only get me for so long. Like, let's lick in.
Yeah.
Spiritual transformation, spiritual growth. Like, it's playing for keeps. Do you know what I mean? So take advantage of that. Look at that harder stuff that you typically avoid, because it's going to get easier right now. That's the point of us doing this live today. Nothing in the universe is designed to work against you. It's all supposed to work for you. We just haven't been taught, or we forget how to work with the universe in this way.
Yep.
We've seen it written on like cave walls on how they used to work with the earth in this way. And we've forgotten that because technology allows us to evolve a little faster. But we're still humans, and we were still designed to live on this planet, and we forget how to live in harmony with this planet. And that's what I love the most about like just syncing your intentional cycle with nature, with Mother Nature, like with the world. It's a game changer. It
Yeah.
honestly is a game changer.
Yes, because we are all connected. Everything is connected through energy, and just getting in alignment with those energies really like we were always saying, like you can create the life that you've always wanted, and it can be here, it can be now, it can be tangible. You just got to learn how to work with those energies. One thing that you said is like, it sticks out to me so much, is just the holding on to the stuff that's no longer serving us. Is we won't, it doesn't, like if you're working on trying to improve your intuitiveness or your spiritual gifts, this is not a time to do that, just because you are, I know for me, like, how do I say, like we can be blocked, you know what I mean? Energetically blocked. And that boulder of energy is just so stuck. And it's until we go in really, really deep, and I'm talking like deep, 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 not just surface level. Like, and that's what you were saying. This time in the past couple of days, if something has come up, please pay attention to it, because it's showing up in your life for a reason. I'm trying to like say this how I'm trying to articulate it, but it's not coming out properly.
I got
Just
you. I hear you.
to what's coming out.
It's important to look at that, but it's also important to pause. Think about the energy of a Taurus. And if you know a Taurus, oh my God, how infuriating, stubborn. I'm surrounded by earth signs, and as a fire sign, like that does not bode well for my existence. However, they are grounded, aren't they? When they do not want to move, they do not move, period. Yeah. That includes in an argument. Like, you cannot get a Taurus to participate in an argument it does not want to be in. It won't. Take that energy when you are triggered, when you are in conflict, when you are having these sensitive situations come up, because we all know how we respond to them most of the time. We either shut them down or we get triggered and we react instead of respond. Mm-hmm. This energy is calling you to respond to this in your highest form. That's what the full moon does. It allows you to call on that stability, call on that grounding energy, pause and respond instead of react. Mm-hmm. Why isn't acting this way? Why isn't responding this way serving you? How are we going to get this to work for you? What do we need to heal here? What do you need to, why are these feelings coming up? Why are you reacting this way? Yeah. And as they come to fruition, like pop up in your mind, acknowledge them and ask yourself, like, do I really want to retain this, or would I like to let this go, along with like my 7th birthday and that one balloon I had once and that stuffed animal I don't remember? Like, that is a choice. That is actually a choice that we all have when it comes to stuff we hold on to.
Yeah. And the more that we hold on to, the less space we create for more things to come in. So if we're just like, we can't, we're walking around with this full cup going, I want more. And the universe, like, no, you're spilling it all over the place. Like, no, we're not going to give you more. So until we learn to kind of clear up, because we can only hold so much energetically, you know what I mean? Yeah. So until we are able to release what is no longer serving us and kind of, cut those cords, clean it out, really do the deep diving, the shadow work, that deep stuff that you have just been putting in, in the corner for years and years and years. It is time to, like, especially now, this is the time to look it right in the face, analyze it, slow down, take your time with it, because you need to show yourself that compassion, that love, for what happened. Because whatever happened, if it's, say, like, if your thing is trauma, that thing that happened in the past, that's real. That's a real thing that's holding an energetic vibration to your being. So until you address it, and then until you're able to kind of sit with it and look at it in the face and deal with it, and then you can let it go, that's when it can actually be set free, is when you actually go and take that deep dive in and just, like I said, stare at it in the face, deal with it, stop putting it in the corner, and then release it. Because then that's when more stuff will come to you. You created that space.
And when we say staring it in the face, that's really it's really just an exercise you do yourself. Like, however your way of letting something go or getting something out, whether you're a song person, like you turn on the radio, cry it out, like have a good karaoke moment by yourself. If you're a writer, angry journal or just polite journal, I don't know. Whatever your niche is, you just honestly look at that memory or that situation that you actively avoid. And we all know what they are. You have that momentary recall and you're like, oh, no, that's the real we don't play. Today we play.
Yeah.
And like you said, slowly and steadily just process that from the person you are now, not the person that endured that pain, not the person that endured that trauma. Gain a non-opinionated perspective on that situation. If it was crappy, acknowledge that. Can't change it. Why not just let it go? You don't have to like it to let it go. You don't even have to love it. Like, you don't have to. All you have to do is acknowledge it. Yep, you exist, and I really don't like you anymore. I would like to let you go.
It's not going to go anywhere. Like, it's still just going to be hovering over you like this dark cloud until you're like, okay, I would like some sun now. Let me take care of you real quick. And then, and I do feel like it, especially now, like what you're saying with us being in Taurus, is you really need to slow down because, like I said, those energies are so amplified, and it's if you're go, it's going to make it even worse. So if you just kind of breathe, make sure you are breathing through it. Make sure you're grounding yourself. Make sure you're going very intentfully and going deep in. One thing I will say is when emotions are high, our intelligence is lowered. So if we keep coming through, because at the tail end of this stuff, after the full moon, like these emotions, it's going to be very, very, very emotional. So just becoming more aware of where you are and not being reactionary to situations, I would say is definitely very important to start honing in and realizing where your energies are and where everyone else's energy is, and putting up those boundaries and really just being present with yourself.
Yes, absolutely. There's awareness is key here. And awareness is nothing more than acknowledgement of yourself.
Yeah.
So quickly we get caught up in other things, other people's lives, what to do next, where we have to go, what's being planned, what are you doing next Thursday? Well, I have this scheduled. Well, he needs to go here and she needs to do that. We get pulled out of our own awareness so much. Think about meditation. Think about how difficult meditation can be sometimes, just to sit and acknowledge your conscious thoughts, because they've been running rampant and nobody caught them for like days. So now the only thing that you have going on there is like an unknown grocery list from you don't know when. A song is playing in the background. You're remembering emails from a teacher that you cannot remember if you responded to or not. You realize that you haven't done any self-care and you're supposed to be clearing your mind. And what are you doing? You're catching up. So awareness is key during this time, during any full moon. Well, honestly, every day, be aware of yourself.
It's so funny because the vision that they're giving me is like a computer screen, and you've got a million tabs, and they're just like, and there's this one tab that you want to get to, but you didn't close it. You're like, oh, I'll get to that. I'll get to that later. And then you start working on these other tabs. Like, it's so funny because then they're like, okay, dealt with this tab. No, let's minimize that one. We don't want to open that tab right now. We'll deal with that one later. It's so funny. Sorry. I'm like, I know this is so serious, but that's like the vision they're giving me. I'm like, okay, yep, got it. So someone here needed to hear it that way.
I love that. And it's true. Like, and what happens when you have too many tabs open? You eventually start buffering. And in the real world, we call that burnout.
Yeah.
And been there. Hate that.
Yeah. Not
and
fun.
I don't like it for anybody. No. Let's talk about how to start unpacking that stuff, Nikki. Like, energetically speaking, we know that there's always a moment of hesitation anytime we want to start unpacking stuff that we actively avoid. And if there wasn't a moment of hesitation, then I would ask you to go back and look for something deeper, because that moment of hesitation tells us a lot. It tells us kind of that we have to do this, that we need to do this. And there's more that meets the eye here. Unfortunately, if they go unchecked for so long, there can be a little bit of a apprehensiveness that's like, I'm not really sure where this comes from or why I get so triggered when this happens. And that's when I really love writing. When you start to write, your brain does something. It actively starts to freely unpack things because you're more focused on letters and spelling and putting a pen to paper. So there is some sort of unconscious but focused energy that happens that allows these memories to like unlock and come up to the surface. That's important for anybody's healing journey because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And we touched on that earlier. And if we can't acknowledge something because it's literally hidden from us, but we know that we're still reacting because of this thing, well, then there's something a little bit more. We can't just let that go. We can't just let go of a trigger.
Yeah.
We have to unpack where and why that's coming up. Journaling, automatic writing, getting into how you feel, follow those thought processes. Don't shut them down. It's just you to you. Like, who's here to judge? Nobody. You could set it on fire literally when you're done, safely in a trash can. Have a fire extinguisher available, please. But take the time to acknowledge yourself. It's crucial. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but enough is enough. Like, I think you've been putting yourself off for way longer than you ever bargained for. So aside from the fact of not knowing how, we all begin somewhere.
And if you don't know where to start, if the past couple of days, this thought keeps coming to your mind, and I'm like, or like you're sitting there like, why am I thinking this? Why is this coming up? Like, I don't know where this is coming from. Why is this being brought up now? Book a session with Sarah because she'll tell you exactly why. Like, she will help you out. If you're just like, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where to start with this. I don't know how to do my own shadow work by myself. Book a session with Sarah because she will go through and she will pinpoint it like that. And she'll be like, all right, let's get you healed real quick.
You're the sweetest. Yes, please book with me. I like people, and I do. This is what I do. This is what my energy does. Like, I love this. Not that I like making people feel uncomfortable, but I like showing people that it's okay to be comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of us didn't get that very early on. Like, we were more so taught how to hide parts of ourselves and how to mask parts of ourselves to make other people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And we don't do that anymore. Period.
Yeah. It's time to take our life into our own hands and start creating the life that we wanted. Not like, because I mean, everyone who's here, everyone's 18 or older, obviously. So you're not a kid anymore. You don't have to live under those pressures that you once, were stuck under, those limitations anymore. You have full reign to create any life that you want, any life.
Exactly.
And you can only go as far as your imagination will take you. So when you pray or you try to manifest, make sure you say, I want something that I couldn't even imagine. That way it comes a little bit better.
But not today.
But not today. Not today. Today we are releasing all of that. Yes.
We're making space. What we're doing is we're making space for the next phase, for the next time we want to manifest, when we set that intention. Because we know that everything happens in phases and seasons and cycles here. Everything does.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
The reason why intentions and manifestations follow moon cycles is to help in that energetic, magnetic release that Nikki touched on in the beginning with the very so helpful graph. I love that. I love that you do that. Energy, everything is energy, like down to like a joule to a calorie is a degree of energy that the body burns. When we sync our energetic intentions with the energetic vibration of the earth, I just everybody take a second to just process on how much of a game changer that would be if you were just that's like the difference between riding an escalator down and going up the down one. Like, You're literally riding the waves of vibration instead of fighting against them. It is a game changer. Absolutely.
And it's funny, I just got the envision of just like this rapids and someone's like trying to swim again, like row against the rapids. And I'm like, just turn around and you'll be able to flow down a lot easier, I promise. But some ways that we can kind of learn and kind of practice within the next couple of days to kind of release a lot of that that energy and that stagnant energy is kind of like how you were saying, was through journaling. And I think that's a very good one, because when we journal, we can kind of keep track of how we felt at different periods of our time, like in our life. And like, I know that we had a discussion before, and I know that the times right now are, you were saying it was what, from 2013 to 2015 energies are coming up right now?
Yes. So lessons that you were processing or going through, or even just difficult situations, because eclipse season, all about illuminating shadows and finishing, like when you've gone astray on your path, it wants to grab you out of the weeds here and throw you back into alignment.
Yeah.
Those difficult situations that we were experiencing 2013 to 2015, they're being wrapped up right now. Don't be surprised if and like, these are things that we have dealt with. So there's going to be something ping and you're like, oh God, like, why did that just come up? Absolutely not. I dealt with that. Like, you got the wrong person. You're going to have to send that ping to somebody else. Like, no. Do the final work. It's difficult. It's deep. It sucks. I get it. I get it. This is the last hurrah. Finish it out. Do your final healing. Let it go. Even like, it's Taurus. Be stubborn about it. Have it out with the moon.
Yeah.
Like, it's witchy season. Go outside and yell at a bonfire. I don't think anybody would think any different this weekend, honestly.
No, probably not.
Right. Acknowledge what needs to be acknowledged. Give yourself that chance to either mourn that loss, show that grief, scream about that injustice, but then sit with yourself afterwards and say, I'm done with that now. I feel better.
Yeah.
I feel better. Thank you. And change that mindset from scarcity to abundance. Say thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate those lessons. I appreciate that time. I'm glad I'm no longer there. And honor yourself. Honor yourself and your growth.
Yeah, I would. So what I was trying to say with the journaling is,
sorry.
No, you're good. No, I loved it. With the journaling is just, it's important to keep track of our progress. You know what I mean? Through our healing. And if you are someone who has been like keeping like a dream journal, or just a journal of like different like manifestations or intentions and things like that, it's so easy for right now for you to go back and look at your journal and be like, oh man, okay, so like in between 2013 and 15, like this is what was going on. And if anyone who has not been doing that, memories on your photos, like on your camera, you can always go back to kind of look and see what your emotions were during that time, and kind of just, I guess, be prepared about kind of the same feelings kind of coming through. But I have like a strong feeling that everyone here has had some kind of idea or some kind of feeling that has been creeping up the past couple of days that you're just like, what do you want? And you don't want to acknowledge it. But if you don't, or if you're kind of confused about what those energies were around that time, you can always just go look on your timeline or your Facebook pictures. But I would definitely recommend starting now to start journaling, just so you can kind of, feel those energies throughout those times. And another good way to kind of release those energies is, like you were saying, intention setting. I like to take baths. Baths are like one of my things. I love to just sit in the bath and just get the gunk off of me from the day and let it go down the drain and just be done with it. You can also, like you were also saying, like grounding. self-reflecting, doing that shadow work. What else?
Unplug.
Yeah.
Unplug. Like,
Teaching is good.
your phone contains a lot of energy itself. And even like just bad vibes. We talk about cleansing a lot. Cleanse your phones. I don't know who needs to hear this. Cleanse your phone.
Yeah.
If you've been arguing a lot on it, fighting a lot on it, that's a lot of just anger being yelled into a device all the time. And I know we've all seen the little like TikTok that kids do, like when you say nice words to a plant and when you say mean words to a plant and what that looks like.
Yeah. You know, that actually brings up another thing is what I was going to say about moon water. This is a good time to start making moon water because water holds memory, it holds vibration. So if you put like a bunch of love into a water bottle and then you set it in the moon and then you drink that water in the morning, that radiating frequency of love is going to, you know, go through your body and, you know, it's going to talk to your cells and show you those cells that love, that gratitude. So that's another good way that you can do during this full moon of like really helping yourself enhance that love or enhance, you know, those feelings within yourself.
I watched a video about speaking your intentions into water.
Yeah.
And
one of my favorite things. I love it.
the way, like under a microscope, they changed the way the molecules adjusted to the vibration of positivity.
Yeah.
Some of them made like actual like formations that look like
the snowflakes and all that.
Yes,
Yeah.
all of that. That's like thank you and I love you. And then things of like a more angry, like malicious nature didn't form. They would like be distal, and
yeah,
it's not like hippy dippy mishigosh. It's not just something that we pull out of left field and thin air and things that we're just spewing about. It's authentic, like scientific on such a level that we do not see. We don't even feel. Like it has to be studied on a molecular level. Like we're going into quantum physics.
Yes.
And to know that positivity, intention, like your existence before you are doing anything, you don't have to go to work. You don't have to pay anybody anything. You don't have to get dressed, look nice, have an opinion. Your existence in its peaceful state holds like the most beautiful crystalline vibration. Imagine what that looks like without all the gunk that everybody like gives you and life gives you and you carry it around. And that's what we do here. That's what you do. It's what I do. It's what the other healers do. Like we're processing that with you and removing that to get you back to your most crystalline self.
Yeah.
You're
and
all
the study that she's talking about, for whoever does it, or if you want to do your own research on it, it's Masaru Emoto, and it's called, if you just YouTube it, it's just go look, it's Emoto water experiments, and it is so incredible, just like what our vibrational words can do to water. I think he did it with rice water, but there was also a study that I just actually told one of my clients this the other day, but they did a study where this river had like all this gunk in it. And so they took a sample and then they sent monks to go pray over it. And then they took another sample and it was like completely different water that was throughout it. And I don't know if, I don't know 100% if this is accurate, but I believe that the river started going a different direction.
What?
Yeah. So don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that, I mean, I read this study a long time ago. So
I'm
pretty
that
sure
you're like
the opposite direction.
I love that you're like the resident fact checker though. Like I love that how you quickly like, oh yeah, that's this study or this is this and this. It's so good. I am not that organized. I don't think I'll ever be that organized. But you knocked this out of the park.
Oh, thank you. What else can people do during this full moon?
Focus on gratitude. Mindset is key here, and we are quick to ask for what we don't understand and want to call things in, and remember now is not that time. We have what we need. We have to go within ourselves. Like we're not calling anything else. We're calling it up, if you will. Spend time in nature. You touched on that multiple times earlier. That's a big one.
Yeah.
I actually have 10 helpful tips, but we've touched on all of them mostly. Oh, trust in this process. This is probably the biggest one with any human being. It is really hard to trust in something that we don't see, right? Like
Yeah.
religion itself goes through this daily. Even though we cannot see the energetic fields that are happening, how any of this works, we just know that it does.
Mm-hmm.
Trust is one of those things that
Sorry.
no, that's okay. Trust is like the speaking of the intentions. You have to have it in order for all of this to work. Like you have to believe in yourself in this process and know without a shadow of a doubt that you're moving forward, that this is changing, that you deserve this, this is your path, and that's it. Trust the process.
So 2 other things that kind of popped in my mind was do a forgiveness kind of ritual, like release any of those shameful thoughts that you had and kind of forgive yourself for even having them against yourself. I think that will help as well. And then there's also a thing called Tritaka. It's where you like focus, or like moon gazing. It's where you focus your attention on like a single point. It could be the moon, it could be a star, it could be the tip of a candle, like on the flame, or even a fire pit kind of thing. That will actually help too. Really focus your energy and focus it all in one location. It's kind of like calling all your energy back into you, because right now we are kind of spread all over the place. So if you kind of just set that intention to bring your energy back into yourself and into your space, I mean, that's going to help a lot during this time as well. It's just calling your energy back and reclaiming your energy.
And remember, guys, when you're doing that, cleanse your energy through your recall. Like when you call your energy back to you, call it cleansed. Like this does not have to be hard. The universe wants to work for you. So it'll give you what you want. And it only understands very simple terms. So like if you're trying to process a feeling and all you're focusing on, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel like this. The only feeling you're identifying is the one you don't want to feel. So that's the only thing you're giving the universe. So that's the only thing coming back in.
Yep.
You're going to have to sit with that. Like, what are your emotions trying to tell you? Mm-hmm. Trace them into your root. Like, do the healing that you're called to do. Like we said earlier, we're all adults in here. And the hard truth is like, there's a certain point where we become responsible for our own healing, regardless on who gave it to us or who gave us that trauma or what happened. Mm-hmm. It's our job. If you don't want to feel a certain way anymore, then what is your goal? What are you moving towards? What are you actively trying to become? And that is what you give up to the universe. That is what you focus on. Language is important here, and your mindset is important. So make sure you're always living or always coming back to, I shouldn't say always living, because we're humans and we're going to revert to like judgment and opinions and getting back on the hamster wheel, and come back to the mindset of abundance. Check yourself.
Yeah.
When you start feeling yourself unwind, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think that's all that we really have, that we really wanted to hit on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have, candles. We did want to talk about other forms. So we have the ways, guys, the ways that you can cleanse, the ways that you can open yourself up, do this. It can be very, very aesthetic, right? You can do the candles and you can do the grids and you can get all like witchy woo woo. And I love that for you. If you get a crown made of crystals and wear like a lace muumuu and light a bunch of candles and do this wonderful cleansing ritual for yourself, I am here for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you also like microwave a hot tea and go, I really want to feel like this, and then like down it and go to bed, I am here for that too. Like, this is whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Light your incense, light your candle. Hey, if it's legal in your state, light some weed and call that incense and have a great night. Like, channel your inner Taurus, like get the munchies, like think about your best stability and carry on. Oh, that song just started playing in my head. Carry on. Somebody's got real like musical vibes because there's just been a steady playlist that keeps skipping and I can barely keep up with it, but it's fun.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions? I'm like, I haven't even looked at the comments, so let me just kind of look up here.
I don't see any.
Catherine said, my students' behaviors always let me know a full moon is near. Yes, 100%. And like I said, there are studies that prove that people get a little crazy. Like I don't know if they're risky people, so they just become more riskier, or they're a little crazy and they become a little crazier. I don't know.
I used to work in a hospital before all of this, and full moons. You ask any first responder, full moons.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Good. Okay. I don't know who wrote this. It just says Facebook. Okay. Anger hitting during grief is ugly. Get more mad at myself for getting angry in the first place because not typical for any anger to come from me. Okay, so that was Angel. Absolutely. If we are not aware of the energies around us, and if we're not aware, if we don't get ahead of the energies, it is just going to throw us through a loop. We're just going to be along for the ride. We're just going to be like, okay, here we go. So yeah, if you're more angry, if you're more angry than typical, look at that and see why that anger is coming up. Especially if you're just not an angry person.
Also, from an astrological standpoint, if that's recent, I'd be interested to where you have Scorpio in your chart because it is Scorpio season. So if you start to get triggered in a way that's different from yourself, and you like things like planets and you're starting to follow this and you start to really fall into alignment, don't be surprised if when these planetary shifts and these conjunctions start happening that you don't fall in sync with that too. Anger's always a really truth-telling emotion for me. I think I said that wrong, but I heard something one time. It's anger's real name is sadness. And that hit me so hard because that was so true for me.
Yeah.
And I was so comfortable with being angry, but I hated being sad. So anytime I was triggered, it came out as anger.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested if, I think you said her name was Angel who said that comment because I couldn't find it. Angel, if that anger trigger keeps coming up, sit with it, maybe like find the root of that, why you're so angry, what you feel the need to be so defensive over, what are you asserting yourself, and can you fulfill that need for yourself, or do you really need it fulfilled by somebody else and you're not getting it, which is where this disconnect is coming from. If that is helpful.
I'm trying to read these comments. She also said, I used to watch how the moon affects other people, but this year I've been hit with these energies. Yeah. So it's just a time to self-reflect and do that inner work, because if throughout the years it's been happening to you and you still haven't addressed it, or if you think that you took care of it, but it's still coming up, there's something a little bit deeper that still needs to get taken care of. There's something that you didn't give full attention to. That needs to be addressed. And like I said, Sarah's great for like really undoing a lot of that.
I want to kind of unpack something real quick too, guys. I think this is really important. When these things keep coming up, you have to understand deep soul trauma. When that energetic imprint takes hold of you, you stop all growth around that trauma. So when you initially start to process it, when we say your inner child, it really is a childlike response. It is fear, crying, like there is a lot of uncertainty surrounding this trauma. The more you go back and revisit it, you go through stages of growth each time you revisit that trauma. So the next time you revisit it, you're not going to be so infantile. You're going to be more articulate. You're going to identify a little bit more like a younger child would. You're going to be able to express a little bit more. You're probably going to be sad, and you let a little bit more of it go. Then when you go back again, or when it gets brought up again, now you're an angsty teen, right? Now you're angry. Now you're pissed. Now I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done listening to you. I'm done processing this emotion. I don't want to revisit this a single solitary time. And then it comes back again. And you're in your 20s and you're like, all right, look, old friend, come on, let's have it out. And it's through these seasons of grief, these seasons of processing, this, I don't know why we attached it to like human growth cycle, but everything's a cycle. Like we do that.
So the way our brains can process in a linear, we are in the world of time and space, so we have to do everything linear and
Everything. Yeah. But that is truly the way people process. And I'm talking deep soul trauma. We're not talking about like that one ex-boyfriend that said that one thing that stuck with you. We're talking about stuff that like shook you to a foundational core, that changed the way that you were going to react to this for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. So have a lot of kindness with yourself when you first start going into these. This isn't easy. This is all commendable work. If this was easy, everybody would have done it. Our parents would have done it. And like identifying your feelings wouldn't be so shameful. Mm-hmm. This is tough. So have grace. You know?
Yeah, especially for what she just, so I'm getting comments right now. She's saying it's because she hasn't been able to grieve, and she's been a caretaker for others and a lot of loss in the last 5 years. So she knows why she's angry and frustrated, but it just kind of keeps coming back.
Yeah. That's a lot of weight to carry. That's a lot of weight to carry. And I really hope like you can find a way to sit with yourself, acknowledge this, and fully let that go. Mm-hmm. Maybe that happens over time, but bit by bit, piece by piece, reclaim more of yourself and less space can go into that angry resentment and misunderstood feeling. I'm sorry you're going through that.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just getting all these thoughts that are coming through, and I won't share it live. Angel, if you want to message me, we can kind of talk about it, not on the live, because there's a lot of things that are coming actually through for you right now.
We did want to stick to more of I think that we wanted to take the more of like informative, less of a reading vibe on here. Yeah. Because when we do a lot of deep releases, very personal issues can come up, and not everybody's comfortable with sharing them all the time.
Absolutely. Yep.
So as far as this full moon eclipse in Taurus today, this weekend, and then we have Halloween coming up on Tuesday. So then you have All Hallows Eve. You know, this kind of lines up perfectly. And I think we talked about this a little bit the other day. Mm-hmm. Energetically, you're stacked to like go into the next, this fall, like this winter season, creating some big movement for release, and then allowing more clarity and more stability and support to come in, because All Hallows Eve is a great ancestral day. It's for pagan, I think it's Samhain. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's about your roots. It's about connecting. You light your candles for loved ones. You say a prayer. You ask for their support, their guidance, their clarity. And to have that come in right after this huge release and identifying the shadows and moving things around and playing like cosmic Tetris with your, your little fate line and jumping ahead 3 spaces, pass go, collect $200, do it again. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Take some time today, and a full moon kind of last over 3 days, right? Because it's on its own time, even though we see it during, and like night to us is a timeline. For it to come into a full moon and then leave that phase is about 3 days time. So even if you don't get to it tonight, get to it tomorrow. Use this energy to even ask for it to come up, to ask for the clarity as it comes up, to acknowledge it. Tuesday, light your candle, say hello, say anybody that comes in, even people you don't know, your ancestral line. I have ancestors come in that not in any lifetime that I ever would have known, to help me figure things out, to help me process certain things, or to just, I've had a few help me acknowledge, like, you don't have to like pick this apart. Like, this was what it was. Let's let this go now. It doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
So huge opportunity in the spirit world to do that.
Absolutely. And I know that we were talking about building foundations and setting those boundaries when we are going into that realm, and just being very grounded during those times too, just because the veil is very thin during that time. And then with the full moon energies being enhanced and all, like, it's this time is like really intense. Like the energies, if you are feeling drained or anything, like, just know that it's just the universe. It is the energies around you. Just take a moment, and if you do feel yourself kind of getting into that like anxious kind of chaoticness, just kind of take a step back and just breathe and build your foundation again, and set those boundaries. Realize what's your energy, what's everyone else's energy. What energy am I holding on that's not serving me, that I can let go right now? Because if I'm sitting in traffic and I'm angry, do I need to be angry at traffic? Nothing's going to change the traffic. So just let that go.
Absolutely. And following up the week after Halloween, Saturn moves into Pisces. So we talk about big emotions. We talk about big emotions. We talk about grounding, unpacking stuff, releasing. We are making space. We're supposed to be making space. There are big energies playing at the end of the year. When Saturn moves into Pisces, then we have a new moon in Scorpio, and then we go to Sagittarius season. I love a good fire sign, but these eclipse season is going to leave us really erratic. Honor yourself, acknowledge yourself, and just know that's the nature of the beast. Nobody takes a teacup on like a whitewater rafting ride. There's a reason for that. So like, let's keep our hands and arms inside the ride, and we'll get through this.
Awesome. All right. Well, if anyone has any questions, go ahead and throw them in the comments. If you guys found any, like, at least one bit of information about this that was helpful, go ahead and like heart the video, or like it. That way we can kind of get this information out to everyone else as well. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the comments. I know that me and Sarah, we wanted to do a collective reading and an energy cleansing and kind of a cord cutting quick kind of thing. So if there's no questions, we can always move into that. I'll give it a little bit because I know there's a little bit of a delay. But if you guys have any questions on anything, go ahead and write it in the comments. Yeah, like thank you, Tammy, for sharing. Like, if you guys can share it just to get the, because there's so many people out there that this is the time where they're in that spiral and they're grasping on to this roller coaster, and they're like one finger away from just plucking right off and flying out the back. So if they can kind of like get this information to help guide them, because in their mind, it's chaos. They don't know where to look. They don't have that information. So the more we can get this information out to people, you're really doing a service for everyone else. Awesome. All right. So then I guess we will go ahead and roll into Kimberly, so you can definitely watch the replay. As soon as this live is over, you can go back and replay. So yeah, don't worry about the beginning. You can always go back and rewatch it as many times as you want. Oh, and thanks, Patty. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's go ahead if there's no questions and we'll go into the collective reading. As Sarah's doing the reading, I'm just going to kind of hold a space and I'm just going to allow your energy field to kind of just release and make you aware of what it is that you need to be releasing. And then I'll be cutting the cords on that for you as well. So, I mean, you don't really have to pay attention. If you're here, you're going to be receiving that. But I am going to just be doing that kind of behind the scenes as Sarah's giving you guys your collective reading. So go ahead, Sarah, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Nikki. And I love a good Reiki session from you, so I'm excited. We have 4 cards tonight. I did go ahead and pull them earlier because I like to be prepared. And I also wrote up a little blurb that I'll post after the reading so you can reference it. We have Tiger's Eye, which is courage, Petrified Wood, which is ancestors. I'm going to mess this up. Stibnite, which is conflict and clarity. Your courage, you're being called to really step into your courage for yourself. We're going to dive deep into our own feelings. And when we acknowledge ourselves, when we become stronger in our own inner world, we lead with confidence in our day-to-day life. And to help us support that and support that mindset in us, we can always call on our ancestors. Whether you are close with someone that recently crossed over or just bloodline, just good old cosmic karmic help, rely and lean on them to support you and add that clarity as you need it and as it comes up. Don't shy away from conflict either. Conflict tells us a lot about us. They are the situations that require most of our awareness, most of our attention. They tell us not only more about ourselves, but about other people and how we interact with them. There's a lot that we can learn by observing ourselves more in a conflict than actively participating in it. Look for those little pockets of pause to find that clarity, to understand yourself a little more. Your ancestors are going to come in again and help with this, help unpack these things as they come up. And remember, you don't have to participate in every argument you're invited to. Call in the energy of Taurus, stay grounded, stay stable, and hold your ground. Thank you, everybody. Nikki, are you still doing your thing?
Yeah, I'm finishing up a little bit. I just want everyone to just take a deep breath, like just a really, really nice deep breath.
And guys, feel free to let us know if you like this type of live, like full moons happen every month, sometimes twice. This could be a really fun way of connecting with all of you in a different format, which we're always looking forward to.
Yes, absolutely. So I do see Patty wrote, how do we find you both? So on this little thing that's going on the bottom, you can either go to our websites, they're right there on the bottom, or you can find us on Facebook as well. I don't know if you're joining from the Master Healers group, but we're all a part of the Master Healers group under Ashley. And then I have my Facebook page, IntuNikki, and then Sarah has hers, Dark Path Healing. I'll go ahead and link it in the comments for everyone to find it. That way you guys can find us. Awesome. So there is, okay, so a couple people showing that they love us. So, okay. And if there's anything that you guys would want us to kind of hit on, let us know too. If there's anything that you guys would like to see a live about that maybe me and Sarah can go through and share with you guys, we would love it. So we just want to give out the information that that you guys want the most. So
please, with the feedback, please.
Yes.
I love good feedback.
Yes. And like we said, share this, like and share this video for everyone who you think might need it. So got a couple more days before this full moon's gone. So
take advantage of it. It's here to work with you, for you.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, do you have anything else, Sarah, before we head out?
No, I think we're good. We touched on everything. I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys for being here and asking your questions, and let us know if you want more.
Yeah, absolutely. And we made sure that we did this live a little early. That way you guys had time to prep, and then you guys could do any of the modalities that we spoke about. That way it gave you guys plenty of time as well. So Savannah, so you can always, we're about to end the live stream, and then you can always go back and watch the replay. And if you guys are watching the replay, just go ahead and comment #replay also. So, all right. Well, until next time, I hope everyone has a great full moon. So yeah, everyone have a good night.
Bye, guys.